Before we leave designing screens for another topic, let me just show you a little bit more about it and how you can enhance your screens in various small ways. Let's go to screen 1 and see what we can do to fix this up just a little bit. It's a little bit scattered. You know that I've already said that I like to do this a lot. I'm turning on the inverse video. I like to separate the names of the fields from the actual data that goes in the fields. I won't do this on every field on the screen, but it looks kind of nice when you do this. And over here, I certainly don't need the phone in reverse or inverse video. I was just showing you that to turn it off, and I'll put that way. I just was showing you how you can make a field become an inverse video. Here, for instance, we're wasting a whole line on the screen. I'm going to press F4, suck up that line, and I'm going to go do this. I'm going to put on the reverse video. And I'll turn it off. That's pretty good. Here's a little trick. Now that I've gained some space, I can push this down a line. Here's a little trick you can use. I want to center this last date called and time at certain time, but I don't know where the time will end really. So I'm going to get my cursor over to approximately where I think it will end, and I'm going to resolve fields. Now I see that this is where it will really end, so I'm going to put myself there. I'm going to stop resolving. Actually, the field really stops here, the data in the field, but here's where you'll see the end of field marker, and I'll stop the resolving fields there. Now I'll use the block command, and here's a quick way to get to the beginning of the line. See, I went up and down enter. Now I'll say that I want to move this from this horizontal line by hitting M, and I want to move it to center it, H for horizontal center. Now I hit enter, and that will be horizontally centered. And when it resolves fields, the whole thing will be horizontally centered underneath the notes fields, which are also, you remember, horizontally centered. There you go. Now this screen looks a little bit better, and I just showed you some quick tricks with inverse video, which is essentially color in this black background screen that I have. Unix and Linux allows you to use different type of color scheme than you can see on Windows. But the nice thing about this way that I'm designing, where I'm just using inverse video and black background, is that if I go and do the little trick on Unix that allows me to go back into regular FilePro colors, and I go look at that screen we just did, you can see that it looks like a pretty standard FilePro color screen. You know, it's adhering to the same red, and FilePro has this red and green and blue color scheme as a default. Any color scheme will really work, and you could design in both. Well, you could design it even in a monochrome code if you want it, in a monochrome scheme if you wanted to, or you could design it in a color scheme. The colors on Windows are much more elaborate. The color availability and the ability to design in color is essentially complete on Windows. By using the Shift and the Alt and the Control key and all the F keys, F1 through 10, 12, so forth, you can change the background color, the foreground color. You can change the color of the text of every single character on the screen, have them all be different. You can do just about anything with color, but I will tell you that color is well, it's tiring if you have a screen with a lot of data on it. Here's a full color screen. I only use 2 or 3 colors at a time. I don't try and really put them up. Most of my screens have the same sort of look and feel. I like to do that, and it's overall, if you're not bouncing around between lots of colors for people, they generally appreciate that. Now, that's what I found. Other people may say, oh, exactly the opposite is true. The more color, the better, the more exciting you can have their day, and so forth. It's all a matter of personal taste. I'm going to leave the Windows color scheme and how to design in a Windows color screen for another tutorial. It's not within the scope of these tutorials. You can play around with them yourself, have a lot of fun. You can waste a lot of time designing in color, but you can also do some very nice and very effective screens. Color can also be done from within processing, and that's somewhere where we're going to move to shortly, to show you a little bit about processing. We've covered enough about designing files, screens, and we'll move on now.